Let's hear from the Conservative Senate critic on Bill C-69. He also thinks that the amendments proposed by the Upper House are an improvement. We're joined by David Tkachuk. He's Senator and member of the Senate Energy Committee. Senator, always great to hear from you. You've proposed a raft of amendments to this bill, and they have received some positive comments from energy industry figures and from Jason Kenney, a great advocate of the energy industry. Tell us what the most important one or two changes you want to see are.
Well, first of all, we needed to see a lot of changes. I'm not a member of the Energy Committee. I'm the chair of the Transport Committee, which is dealing with C-48. But I am the critic on C-69, and I'm very happy with the amendments that have been passed, some 187 of them, actually. And really what the problem was in this bill, and that the energy industry had real strong issues with, wasn't its objective, which of course is protecting the environment and to ensure that the impact of new development would not be hazardous to the environment. But there was such a lack of precision in the bill, and really what the amendments do is bring clarity to the bill, bring clarity to what they mean by say, gender impact, what they mean by environmental impacts. These things were kind of just left out there, and so the industry was confused. And when they're confused and they don't know exactly what the policy is, it's very, very troublesome. So now, both Saskatchewan and Alberta, I think, are reasonably happy with the amendments, yes.
One of the interesting things for me, anyway, is that you say, the proponents of these amendments say it would reduce the role of politicians, the discretion of politicians here, as a way of restoring faith in the regulatory decision, which is meant to be arm's length. Tell us about that.
Well, throughout the bill, there was plenty of opportunity for ministerial interference within the process. And although you do want interference in the sense that you want the ministers responsible and the government responsible for what their regulatory authorities do, what you don't want is a constant concern by the industry when they make their positions known, that in the middle of it all, even though they'll consider them successful, and a minister can interfere in the process for a political reason and shut it down or delay it to such an extent that the money runs away.
Now, I'm seeing from Canadian press that some of these amendments, though, were word for word as proposed by energy lobby groups. Doesn't that create a bit of a problem of perception? How close are you? Are you in the pocket of these energy lobbyists?
Well, the magic word is some of them were. Yes, that's true. But some of them were also amendments wanted by the provinces, and some of them were amendments wanted by other interest groups. So yes, there is a mixture of amendments. Some of them are wanted by the industry, but you know what? When we went through them all, you couldn't write them any better than they did. So that's exactly what we did.
Now, there's another, I know this gets complicated, and I'm sorry for can you give us a quick explanation of what this concept of shareholder certainty is? Because you see that as a key factor that should be enshrined here.
Well, I can't give it to you precisely.
Okay.
But I think what you want, I think what industry wants is that when they go through a process, that it'll be a fair process, that it won't be politically interfered with, that they know that it won't be stopped in the middle. I mean, that's what investors want. They don't want. It's not that they don't want to go through the process, but they want to go through a process that they know has some certainty at the end of it. But when they go ask for money, and investors are looking to place their money, they also want to know that there's some certainty to the process.
Now,
and to us, that's jobs in Saskatchewan and Alberta. I'm going to get back to. I mean, the real reason we're doing this is that we have lost $40 billion in investment over the last 2 years. We've dropped from $80 to $40 billion over the last 2 years. There's a reason for that, and the reason for that is all these bills, C-48, C-69, C-68, has thrown so much uncertainty to the process that people are throwing up their hands and they're leaving, and they're either leaving the country or the investors investment dollars are leaving the country.
I'm looking at a critique of the amendments now by Martin Olszynski, assistant prof at the University of Calgary, a law prof. He says that some of these amendments would gut the bill. Now, it's controversial. Should global warming even be considered as part of an approval for an energy project? And I know there's a case for leaving it out, that it's national policy. But getting apart from that, he says that you guys would like to see a project in terms of its warming impact on a global level. But he says that's guaranteed to result in a finding it's just insignificant, because Canada is only a small part of the world economy. So is it weakening the provisions of the bill in that sense?
Well, no, of course not. Look at CO2 is emitted by automobiles, and we're making great progress there. People forget that we're moving to electric cars. We're moving to smaller motors with that still have a lot of horsepower. We've made tremendous gains in this. The United States has shown the largest decrease in CO2 emissions over the last year, not Canada, not other countries, and certainly attacking the very source of it. This is ridiculous. We're going to need oil for at least a minimum of the next 50 years, according to the experts, and I would say 150 years.
And certainly, I know there's probably a case to be made that dragging global warming into the thing complicates it unnecessarily. Yeah, Senator, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us.